And welcome back to another episode of the Trainwell podcast, where we inspire you to move more, get stronger, and have fun. What a treat we have for you all today. We have one of our own, another trainer coming on, Miss Ashlie Black, where she talks all things about family, about organization, about being decisive with your decisions, all the things. I'm going to give a quick, brief bio here of who she is, what Ashlie is all about. She's married to her high school sweetheart, Jordan. Together, they have nine children. You're going to learn all about that here in a second. She's both a physical therapist. That's where she got her graduate work in, and a personal trainer. And she's been in the industry for over 22 years. So in other words, she has a lot of nuggets. You can feel her passion. She's very passionate about helping others build strength and confidence. She has an extremely busy life. In her free time, she enjoys homeschooling her children. Another big point. Again, homeschooling her 9 children. She loves to lift weights. She loves hiking, traveling, and coaching her kids' teams.
This was an amazing episode. There's so many actionable tips to pull out of this. And I even told Ashlie in the episode, look out for a DM from me, because I got a lot of questions. You're going to have a lot of questions for her too. You're going to love it. Stick around.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy this very fruitful episode about how to be more efficient, how to dominate your day with trainer Ashlie.
Okay, Ashlie, we are so excited to have you on the podcast today. I've been looking forward to talking to you so much because you have a crazy, wild life. And I'm like, I need to know more about this life, how you do everything or anything. But I want to start off with a cherry in a pit, because that's always a fun way to start. So Ashlie, give us a cherry in a pit, whether it's like today. Joey's actually holding up a cherry right now, folks. This is like so meta. We're talking about cherry and pits.
Summer.
He's eating cherries and pits. It's summer, and we're here with Ashlie. So whether your cherry or pit is today or this week or whatever, go ahead and share.
Okay. So I'm going to say probably the biggest thing that's happened this whole year is we just purchased land, which my husband and I have been married 22 years, and we have been wanting to buy land the entire time. And we finally just did it. We bought 22 acres here in Bryan College Station, where we're going to put down roots. We closed last month, and we're so excited. We're so excited to unleash our children onto this land and let them get after it. Probably the most exciting thing is I was always hesitant to buy super far out because we're driving around so much. I didn't want to have to drive 30 minutes to get everywhere. This piece of property is literally 1 mile from the school that my husband works at, from all the grocery stores we attend. It's just like this little area that's sectioned off, acreage, and it's like a total dream. So could not be more excited.
Dig your boots, dig your roots, get out your boots. That's what I say, huh?
Okay. So my pit is actually related to that. And that is the mountain that I have to climb to plan the house we're going to build is overwhelming. I'm a quick decision maker. Like, I'm the type that's like, boom, boom, boom. And I feel like I need to be a little bit more careful with the house. So that sounds really ungrateful to say that I'm dreading, but there's the process of building a house. It does not seem, I just want to be done. I want to be there, So that's the pit. It's kind of a dread. Like, the planning part is dreading.
Well, I can, first of all, I'm really excited for you. That sounds incredible and perfect. I actually am in the process of buying a house, and it's nothing like what you're doing. You were building from the ground up. I just bought a row home in the city here. Mm-hmm. And I'm already like, oh my gosh, I need to paint these walls. And I'm like, what do I need to do to paint the walls? So I can relate to that aspect of it.
Sure.
I can't.
Of course you can.
We bought a new construction home, and they're pouring concrete right now, actually, as we speak, because I don't do concrete work. Even though I am Hispanic, I don't do concrete work. Anyways, Ashlie, thank you for jumping on. We chose you for a very specific reason, for a very specific topic. And that very simply is how to stay organized, how to live your values, and most importantly, how to balance, fitness, family, and life. And so I would like you to just share a little more like about you in a nutshell. You're a mother, right? Where you're from. I know that I don't know where you're from, but I can sense that that accent is Texas, is Southern, maybe Bama, maybe Texas. But walk us through that. Just give us a quick snapshot of your life at home.
Sure. So I am Texas born and raised. You're right. I didn't know I had an accent. Dallas actually was the OG. We spent most of our adult life in Houston. My husband's first career had us moving a lot, so it apparently did not have an effect on my accent. But we spent about 18 years in Houston, and recently, in the last year, moved to Bryan College Station, where A&M is. We're not big A&M fans; it's just what everybody. That's what put them on the map. We have 9 kids. We've been married 22 years, but together 30. We were high school sweethearts. And we have a wild life. He is a head football coach, a dean of students, and athletic director, which is 3 jobs, but one because it's a small school. So he has a lot of responsibility. He also heads up the strength and conditioning. I went to so we were both college athletes, and then I went to grad school for physical therapy. So I'm both a personal trainer and a physical therapist, and have worked in all the areas over the last 20 something years as able with children at home. I've done a number of things. I've run a homeschool co-op. I've been a basketball coach, a track coach, strength and conditioning, all the things. Right now, I'm working for Trainwell, and I love it. Just started in February with the new Peloton partnership, and have absolutely loved having something I can do from home and still be with my family, and just so much control of my schedule and ability to do that. So it's been a huge blessing. But we're loving Bryan College Station and excited about what is in store for us here.
Yeah, so I just want to emphasize real quick, just want to emphasize. So, what Ashley's saying is she and her husband are both working full time while homeschooling their 9 children. And she just told me 3 of those kids are 4. And my
Yes.
mind is blown. And she's sitting here and looking like this is like totally fine. And I am truly like, how are you doing it? This is why I wanted to talk to Ashley, because I have 2 kids. Joey, you have 3 kids. We work, full time. I'm a single mom, and I am like, I'm already like, I'm doing more than enough, and you are doing more than like every other person I've ever met in my life, Ashley. So this is a part. This is why I'm like, we need to talk to Ashley and figure out how is she staying organized, because for the listeners, when I met Ashley, she was interviewing for the position here at Trainwell, and she specifically called out and proactively said in the interview process, my strongest suit is my organizational skills. And I'm like, yeah, I need to know about that. So I cannot wait to talk to you more about how you're keeping all this organized with your job, your kids, homeschooling, building a new house. It's and all your kids play sports too. So it sounds like
They
absolute mess.
do. They do. The good thing is kids come, for the most part, other than the 4-year-olds, they usually come one at a time. So you can kind of get acclimated to having a new one before the next one comes. But we can get into all of that. I will say there's nothing special about me. I probably do have a high capacity, but I'm also very stoic and chill. So it takes a lot to rattle me. I have a very long fuse. But yeah, organization is like, I absolutely love it. It makes me probably very boring, but like it makes me excited to be organized. So yeah.
We can have so many jumping off points. I'm going to annoy Darian here just because I like to.
Go ahead.
You mentioned when you were talking about yourself a little bit, you're a fast decision maker. Talk to us about like where you got that from, and does that play a role in how you stay organized and how you go about managing your day?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've just always been that way. It's kind of ingrained in me. And I'll say, so I have 3 other siblings. I grew up with a family of 4, and we marvel together how similar we are in that regard. Like, I don't know if that's something like a family culture we grew up in, but when I see something and I know I want it or need it, it's just like, let's go. And I think my husband actually balances me out really well because he's the exact opposite. And so I might be a little bit quicker on the draw, but he might pause and then make the more wise decisions. So the big decisions, I definitely default to him. But when it comes to strategic or like just the day to day, go, 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 I'm just like from moving from one thing to the next. And so we balance each other out really well. But yeah, I think it's just kind of something I caught in my, primary family.
when when you prioritize like tasks, it sounds like you go, this is task one, let's do this, task two, task. You don't sit there and like think, okay, what should my next move be? Well, I got to do this, I got to do that. You're almost forced to shoot yourself in the foot when you think that way. Would you agree? Like if you have too much to think about, you can sit there and just sulk for hours.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like in my own role here at home, I'm my own boss. Like I'm my boss and the employee. So I get to decide what the activities are for the day and I get to follow through with those. So that's fun, and I can kind of be in my own mean boss by putting too much on my plate that I'm not in the right season for. I can also be a bad employee and loaf around and not do anything that I should be doing. So I like to think about it like the more I probably to a fault am efficient. And so I do have to slow myself down sometimes and kind of be present because I can move through with efficiency. That's kind of my speed or whatever. But yeah, I don't belabor quick decisions. I mean, if it like with the land, obviously it took us 22 years, to buy that. So that was a major, major decision, major purchase, lots of factors there. I never would do something like that quick. But when we're talking about what to do next, like I don't think about it at all. I mean, I think about it, but I don't belabor it.
Yeah. I want to kind of, because that's like very high level, right? I want to go high level to like literally what are the things you're doing to keep yourself on track in a day. So, something Joey and I have talked about before on the podcast is aligning your actions with your values. We talk about
Yes.
this for in terms of like fitness in the sense that like a lot of people say that fitness is important to them, but when they look at their daily, weekly, monthly task to-do list, things they actually got done, fitness might not be making that list. And so there is that importance of okay, actually deciding what's important to me in my life and then now what do I need to do or change to make those things align. So when you're thinking about, are you considering like, okay, what are her high level values? And is that helping you to prioritize and make those decisions?
100%. And I will say I did not always do this. And I think that's why I'm so comfortable with the decisions being quick like that, because I did the work on the back end, deciding what's important. And so, yeah, I think especially the first few years in the trenches of parenting, a lot of those years are just like keeping your head above water. It's just like, okay, got to get the kids fed, got to get the diapers changed, got to get the laundry moved because everything depends on you. And you don't necessarily attach value to those tasks in that time. And some people do. And I think that's fantastic if you're one of those that has that perspective. I did not. The first like 4 years of parenting was literally just reactionary. Like, this is happening. I must squash this. Or, it's like whack-a-mole, like kind of constantly. And I was not proactively thinking about like with any intention, like, what am I doing? It was actually, believe it or not, the decision when my oldest was 4 to homeschool that kind of like turned that light bulb on for me. But it's not that homeschooling is some magical thing. It's just the activator that turned this on for me. And that was like, what are we even doing? Like, what values do we have? Like, we're building a culture here. Like, this is a family, a unit. Like, we're going somewhere. This is not just reactionary parenting or reactionary, whatever. And I spent a number of years, probably a full year before we actually started teaching our kids anything, just figuring out what's important to us. And a lot of that was just poring over books and podcasts and sitting at the feet of women that were older than me, further along in life, whose kids had some fruit to show, like, this is what I've been doing and here's how they turned out. And just getting the wisdom from them and realizing this is so much bigger than just like a task list in the day. Like, we're actually going somewhere and the daily reps that I'm doing are accomplishing something, even if I can't see that. And I didn't want it to just feel empty. And so when you sit down and do that, and you sit down and you think, what are these core values? Like, who are these humans? They're going to be someone. They're going to be someone's spouse, someone's parent, someone's employee. Like, what kind of person do I want them to be? Like, what do I want them to look back on our family life and think of? What was the aroma of our home? Like, what was the feel of it? That makes all those daily tasks have so much value. And it also directs the daily tasks and choices that you make, because you can large scale choose your values. And just like with fitness, like you sit down with someone and you say, like, what do you hope to accomplish in the next 3 months? And you keep seeking and seeking and seeking. Why are you here? What is the underlying reason, right? And then you can go make the program that suits their goals. It's taking them on a journey. You do the same thing with your family. What is our purpose here? What are we doing? Like, why are we choosing to spend our life this way? What are we trying to cultivate? And then you can literally take the daily tasks and attach them to those values. And that took a long time. Like, I would say a full year of me seeking to come to terms with that, and a lot of conversations with my husband. I would kind of go gather the things, and then I would find like 2 or 3 really good ones and put him in front of it and be like, what do you think about this? And he'd be like, yes. And so we came aligned on that. And then from there, I just began crafting, and I just began practicing. And it was like, I want my kids to have, this character trait, or I want them to have this work ethic. We always say, like, the 2 things you control are effort and attitude. Like, we want those things to be huge for our kids. Obviously, our faith is the foundation of everything, but how we practice it, like, what are we repping every day? What are the behaviors and attitudes that we have? Direct what we become. And so a lot of our values are aligned to those tasks. And so I actually do have like checklists for myself, for my kids and stuff like that. And I have rhythms in the family home that are all attached to where we're going. And it's like a skeleton, and when you have that skeleton in place, the meat and flesh that you put on it, as long as it aligns with your values, it doesn't matter which one it is today or tomorrow, but you're always kind of constantly checking yourself, like, am I still headed in the right direction? Are we still doing what we said we were going to do? And I think those checks and balances really help you stay on the path. Just like it's really so much similar to fitness. Like, it's so similar to how you plan out and program someone with goals in fitness.
Yeah. So could you give, I'm sure Joey is just dying, waiting to ask you something or say something, but I'm wondering if you could just give a quick example first. Like, for example, like, how does that inform what how you're choosing to exercise for yourself personally? Or how does that inform, your choice to come work at Trainwell, or anything you're thinking in your mind? Like, I'm so curious about how this informs just like your decisions.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just start with like what my core value personally. I mean, I have a lot of them, but like, as a wife and mom right now, my primary role is home focused. Like, I am oriented to the home. And so everything that I am offered, like, you could do this, you could do this. Would you come volunteer here? I need you to fill this role. I always think, does this help or hurt my family? Because I'm the only one who can do this role. And I mean, I can hire a sitter, but they're not going to be the same as me. I can do, so I have to make sure I'm covering my bases here. And then I have to think like, well, where are we missing? We have 9 children. We've got 3 teenagers. They eat a lot of food. I don't know if y'all have looked at the price of groceries lately, but when I said I'm going to go get a job, I literally told my husband, I'm going to go get a job to pay for groceries because the food is astronomical right now. And so still home oriented. I chose a company that would allow me to stay at home, to make my own hours. I can work, whenever it works for our family and things like that. Could I go get a job at a gym? Yes, I'd be up there 9 hours a day. Could I go get a job as a physical therapist? I'd be gone all the time. And so those are things that I can choose because of just the rhythm that we have and choices that we've made in life. But I intentionally always kind of use that as my plumb line, is like, right now, this is my primary role. And so yeses cost something. It costs our family, whether it costs, time or money or whatever. So I have to be very intentional about those yeses. You asked about how it informs my fitness. Do you just mean like, how do I schedule my time, like for myself with fitness, or what do you mean by that?
Yeah. Like, cause I'm, as someone who just someone who has two kids, who's working
Yeah.
full time, I do have to be very intentional. Like, when am I working out today? I'm looking at my schedule, the night before, and I'm going, what time makes sense? How are you
100%.
structuring that with your kids across this age spectrum and activity spectrum?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. And, every season, like we can get into this later, but like how I plan my week and I feel like we kind of look at a whole year. We also break it up into quarters because depending on what sports they're in kind of drives our schedule. And it can be so different. Like football, my husband being a football coach, football season's way different than summer or spring, and there were many years where we were both coaching. And so I'm going to answer you for now instead of like, this doesn't apply over the last 18 years of parenting, because it's always just like with everyone. I think we're all always adjusting to wherever you're at. But the current rhythm that has worked, and I would say this has worked for probably the last 3 years pretty solidly, is I sit down at the beginning of the week. I do a weekly review. I've done a weekly review for 15 years. It's literally just brain dump everything out of your head, organize it into, is this a task? Is this a calendar event? Is this a text message to someone? Is that an email? Is this a bill? All the things, get it out of your head, organize it. What can I put on a task this week? What do I need to update on the calendar? What do I need to tell that person? And then, even food, meals, all that kind of stuff. And once I get the calendar sorted out, everything out of my brain, I look at the week and I go, okay, my goal right now is to get 3 full bodies in, 3 full body lifts, and I want to get 10,000 steps a day, whatever it is. That's currently what I do. Where's that going to go? Right. There have been seasons where I was a basketball coach and 3 mornings a week, I couldn't do it because I'm running a basketball practice at 6 a.m. So that's not going to work. And we've got a tournament this weekend. So you have to be more scrappy. Right now it works that I can just get up earlier. And I know everyone probably rolls their eyes about that. Like, oh, just get up earlier. But it just so happens I'm a morning person. So I absolutely love mornings, and that's like my me time. So I just get up and get the workout in, and I put it on the calendar just like everyone else, just like I do with my clients. What days are going to work this week for you? Look at your calendar. What do you have? Oh, I'm traveling Thursday through Saturday. So it looks like we're only going to get 2 lifts in, or we're going to have to lift on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever it is. And it's just always, it's not like a permanent fixture. Nothing is. Everything is movable, but you put your big rocks in. To me, fitness is a huge rock for me, and it's a huge rock for my husband. We're both in this profession with competitive athletes. It's big rocks for them too, and they have taken it on themselves. They actually lift 4 days a week. And so there's been seasons where we all lift together. Literally, we'll just go up to the school, let their 4-year-olds run crazy, and we're lifting. And then we also have a setup here at the house. And so, we just go out there and get some things in. But I personally like to go to the gym. I love the alone time. I love the sauna. I love the whole experience. And so that's like my ideal. But there have been, especially onboarding with Trainwell, when my hours were, a little bit more fixed, I had to get scrappy with the workouts. So I would go out there and do 3 sets of squats, come back in here and work, 3 sets of overhead press, come back in. I was just like all day lifting, just trying to like be scrappy about it. So
Love that. I love getting it done over perfect. Like, it does
yes,
not have to be perfect. Just get it done. Yeah, fit it in where you can.
yes.
I love it. Okay, Joey, go ahead. I know you're
Whew.
really waiting. Sorry.
Hey, there are 2 things we can control here: effort and attitude, right, Ashley?
Right.
And my attitude here is positive.
Okay.
Patient.
Man, that was great. So great. I even took notes because I like to throw things in checklists, Ashley, and I want to kind of back up, but then go deeper with the next question. My backup is this. So when you were defining your values and whatnot, I put step 1 was reflection. You had this introspection of yours where you said you sat at the feet of older women. I've never heard that before, but you zoomed out a little bit. You paused and really said, what am I doing here? What are my husband and I like looking deeper at in this big picture of parenting, right? And then step 2, you define, and you did that by what are your values? What is the why? What is my direction and my compass? And the step 3 was alignment and action, where you actually took it upon yourself to dive down those value holes and lead by example and teach your kids and whatnot. My first question is, A, do I have that right? And B, can you apply that to the general realm of fitness when someone comes walking in and says, I want to lose 10 pounds?
For sure. Number 1, what a great summary. That was good. You took good notes. Yes, I can apply that. So to fitness, I mean, when you're doing like an onboarding or when you meet someone in person, you're seeking. You're first of all like, why are you here? What made you sign up? That's the same question we should all be asking about our daily, like, what are we even doing here? I have been given these kids to steward and raise and develop whole humans and, hopefully send them out into the world to be a wonderful husband, father, coworker, wife, whatever it is. Who loves people, who serves others, who's not selfish. Like, how do we do that? That's such an astronomical task. It's so overwhelming to think about. And a lot of people get that same feeling when they have 100 pounds to lose, or they are, have some bikini. I want to get on stage and do some bikini competition, or I want to make it to the NFL. I want to, whatever it is. I just had knee surgery, and will I ever walk normally and run normally again? It's a mountain. It just feels like a mountain to climb. And you first have to seek and figure out, like, well, what is your ultimate goal? Which can be so different. What's the motivation behind? Some people come with a weight loss goal, but then when you dig deeper, you actually find out that it's actually more about feeling more confident and capable in their life, and they think that if they lose those 15 pounds, that will happen. But sometimes, just feeling like, oh, I can stand, getting up to stand is so much easier, or picking my kids up is so much better. They start finding a bigger value in the process that they're doing, that it's not just that goal. And sometimes people reach that goal and they're still not fulfilled, and they realize that's because that wasn't really the goal. So I don't want to get to the end of my life and feel that feeling. I don't think any of us want to feel empty and be like, what was I even doing? Like, what would, you want to look back and feel like this was cool. Like, I was a part of something really big, and generations beyond me will continue because of the faithfulness of my daily work, changing those diapers, wiping those nose, fixing those meals, kissing those boo-boos. And that's so much bigger than just getting through the day.
Okay, I want to jump in. I don't want to lose sight of this. So, yeah, great summary there. You mentioned that fitness is part of your big rocks.
Yes.
Tell me when you do your weekly reflections and plan, what are some non-negotiables that make it on weeks, days, months, years?
Yeah. For me personally, or as a family?
I want to hear one from family, two,
Okay.
because I'm a parent as well, and kind of
Okay.
selfishly, and then two personally.
Okay. Family, I think family dinners
Yes,
are,
nice.
we're together all day. When you have kids, I've got two drivers now. So, they can be gone, as noted now. They're not here. Uh, Making that a regular rhythm. For us, it's nightly. And I mean, sometimes it's at 3 p.m., which would probably make you laugh. But in the summers, my people get home from their weightlifting at 3 and they are ravenous. And if they eat at 3, they're not hungry for dinner at 6. So I just moved dinner to 3. And I'm like, we're eating dinner at 3. And then they have a second dinner later. But like the fellowship around the table and the shared stories, and we all store up our funny whatever that happened, something awkward. Like, we come just armed with stuff. Like, we just talk over each other. It's super loud and it's so fun. And it's a get to, not a got to. Our kids love it, and they want to be there. Even if they're not hungry, they're going to sit at the table because they know this is where it's all happening, right? So family dinner, 100%. Like, that is non-negotiable. Obviously, in busy sports seasons, that's getting moved to 7, 8 o'clock at night. It might be at 3 o'clock. It might be at the local Chick-fil-A. You just never know. For me, I mean, we're a family of faith, so we go to church every Sunday. That's kind of a non-negotiable. Our kids don't play sports on Sunday just because of the kind of sports they play. They don't have practices or anything on Sunday, so it's an easy rock that we don't have to put on the calendar. It just is. And then workouts, for sure. My husband and I are extremely consistent. We owned a gym for 8 years. And so our kids literally like cut their teeth on a barbell. I mean, they literally built it with us, like you're laughing. They built it with us, like laid the flooring with us, like I can't tell you how many benches they put together, squat racks they put together. These kids know how to put together a weight room. He has redone like 4 weight rooms in his career. So yeah, like lifting weights has been a huge part. I mean, our little kids are lifting weights, like my little 3rd grader can bench quite a bit of weight. He has great form, but all that to say, lifting is a big part. And then this might sound weird, but our whole family, like, we have a family rhythm of a daily quiet time. When you are 11 people, and I'll say 10 because my husband's gone, 10 people under one roof 24/7, like you need a break from people. So from 12 to 2, it's quiet time. And we have a lot of introverts in our family. We have 2 extroverts, bless. They hate quiet time because they have to be alone and self-entertain, but it's such a good skill to learn. But man, the introverts just soak it up. And I know, like as a mom, I've got that coming. I've got quiet time. I can just get to 12. And there's been times it's been like 1, but for the most part, it's 12 to 2. And everybody stores up their thing that they want, whether it's a book they wanted to read or something, whatever, and they go enjoy their quiet time. And the 4-year-olds also do a quiet time, and they also have to self-entertain. And that's, as they transition out of naps, that can be a little bit, it's not as quiet. I'll say quiet time with 3, 4-year-olds is not as quiet as much as it is everyone's to their own corners. And like, there's not just questions all day long. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a daily thing. That's like, everyone looks forward to. When is it quiet time? When is it quiet time? Because our house is very loud. So I would say, and then my husband and I, like we have a very close relationship, and we've always been really good friends. We're not the type that has to do like a weekly date night out or anything like that, but we for sure will set aside time. Like, this is us. We're going to go in here and have a conversation. Our kids know, like, to let us have that time. Now that we have older kids, they will offer like, hey, we'll babysit. Do you want to go do something? And we're like an active type. Like like if we go on a trip, we're hiking, we're not like laying on a beach. So we'll literally use our date night to go work out together, because we don't get to do that. Like, that's fun. I'll let him train me. I'm like, tell me what to do. And so that's definitely like a non-negotiable. In busy seasons, I'll go up to his work and help him and just be like, what can I do? I'll help you set up the field. I'll make copies. I'll laminate, like whatever, just to spend time with him.
Yeah. Wow. That is like so helpful to hear, that how you structure your day. Wait, Joey, were you going to say something? I want to give you the floor.
Thank you. No, I just want to comment. Our children have cut their teeth on a barbell. I don't know if I'll ever hear that, but I think that is the one line I'm going to take from this podcast. So that was funny. Thank you for the laugh.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I feel like you're giving us some really good, tangible stuff. This is so helpful, honestly. That quiet time. I I feel like my ears are bleeding every day, and I only have 2
Yes.
kids, like truly. And if we add a friend in, it's like exponentially louder. And I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy. I feel like I want to implement quiet time for my whole family. That's a very good tip. So can you tell us kind of just like the logistics, like the little details of like, okay, this big organizational plan that you have with this like weekly like the weekly review, like, are you writing it on a piece of paper? How are you like sectioning off your priority categories? Like, what does it actually look like?
Yeah. So as far as our family, so I will say, because there's a whole aspect of homeschooling to this, that you kind of have to do this for each individual kid. Um, because you are literally in charge of like their whole life and what kind of curriculum is going to foster this or that. So my weekly review is largely born out of the need for kind of office hours to be that principal who's overseeing all of these people's education. And it was like, I don't know how to stay on top of this. When do I grade the tests? When do I assign that, And so the weekly review came from, basically it was born out of the need for the office hours. And then it became like, oh, that's also when I can sit down, because I don't know about you. You're talking about your ears bleeding, like the schedule. And the older the kids get, the crazier the schedule gets. And like the more people asking me like all the things, like, well, what time do we need to leave here? And what do we need to bring? And who's giving us a ride? And all the things. And then you multiply that times however many. I realized like, I got to have answers. When they ask me this, I can't be like, hang on, let me go figure it out. And so it was very analog, but we used to have a whiteboard in the laundry room, very huge, like teacher whiteboard. And it had like rows, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And I would just handwrite logistics on there, and dinner and anything else they ever wanted to know. What time does the babysitter get here? Anything they wanted to know. And I would always just like, it's on the whiteboard. It's on the whiteboard. And then we kind of worked into like a family meeting once a week, where it was like, we're going to talk about, and then it became a daily family meeting, because I wanted to gather all the people around and tell them how the day was going to go. And if you have any further questions, consult the laundry room, And so big picture, I'm going to zoom way out. Big picture, there was that one meeting my husband and I had, from the beginning. We're going to homeschool. This is what we're doing. Align values. I don't even know if I ever said what our values are. Yes, I said effort and attitude, are two things we say a lot, but really, for us, values are so much bigger than that. I mean, it is, we really want our marriage to be, well, our faith is the biggest part. We want our marriage to be the center point of our kids to just delight in our marriage. Like they think we have, and we do, we have a great marriage, but like we have a lot of fun together. And so we wanted them to witness that. And so we're constantly pranking each other. Like, just, I don't know, we're just very playful. And that's a huge value that we want to pass on to our kids. And so that marriage, and then obviously like our fitness is huge. That's something we both have in common. And we actually are very like yin and yang. Like we say together we're one whole person, because I'm like the organized, like systematized, and he's the like ADHD, like visionary, thick skin. Like we're just very, I don't know, balanced together, but not balanced individually. And so one thing we do have in common is our love for fitness. And so that's a big value for us. But our faith and our marriage and our family time and just staying in fellowship together and like having a place that we're going is huge. And so every year we sit down and we think like, what is it that we're doing here again, and realign. And I'll say I do this with each individual kid that is school age. They have like a goal sheet, and it's like, this is, something educational, something spiritual, something character, something physical. And like, what are we doing? Where are we going? But then just like you do with a client, like those are the goals. And then how are we going to do that daily? And we're repping it. It's reps over and over and over and over, just like in the gym. And what is that rep need to be to attach to that goal, which is attached to a value? And then when you're in the reps, you no longer feel like, what am I even doing anymore? Because you made the decision back then when you sat down and made this vision that this is the rep that's going to get me there, if that makes sense. And this is school related, but let's say I have a kid who doesn't know their math facts. So how are we going to do it? Well, they're going to get on extramath.com and they're going to do 10 minutes of daily reps. So now every day when they go on extramath.com, I know I'm attaching that to that goal, right? And that's just a very simple example of a rep. But, my oldest son really got into piano for a bit and the Suzuki method. And anytime you play an instrument, there's lots of repping. And I use the word Suzuki as a verb now. I will be like, I need to Suzuki this, because Suzuki is so good about repping things. And I realized even the other day with my 4-year-olds, like we had this kind of pain point in the day where I would tell them to do something and it was like ants. I mean, ants are really organized. It was like squirrels just scattering or cats just going whatever. And I was like, what is happening? And I was like, you know what? We need to rep this. And I told my bigger kids, I was like, guys, this is now a new rep. And I just created a system. And I was like, when I tell you to do this, you're going to pick this up and you're going to carry it here. And it was like, it solved so many issues of like, even just go get in the car. Like go get in the car should be simple, but when they go out in the street and then this one's going here, it's just like, what's happening? So you just find the system and you rep it, right? So I'm getting more into the details and really want to back up here. But as a whole year, you're looking, and then you dive into quarterly. So you're like, okay, the whole year I said my kid was going to do this, but it's the fall semester and they have sports. So what does that look like? Well, now it's this, winter semester, they have basketball. What does that look like? Here's the spring, here's the summer. So quarterly and they would get a new physical sheet that was like, these are my morning things. And the morning things would, it could be something simple like brush hair, brush teeth, tidy bed, bring dirty clothes and empty hangers, put away clean clothes. It's just the normal things. And then when you get downstairs, here's the family rhythm. And when they're young, I would have pictures because I couldn't read yet. And it would just be like a picture of someone brushing their hair, a picture of someone brushing their teeth. And I would literally walk them through. And just like if you've ever been in like a pre-K 4 classroom, everything is so slow, but they rep over and over, and it's so boring, but you just do that and they figure it out. And then one day you don't have to go up there because they just do it, but you have to kind of put the work in to do the reps to get there. And as far as like it goes with my weekly review, so we're kind of going big from year to quarterly. And I would say there's even like a monthly, because every month I kind of look at the whole month and see like, what are we doing? But then weekly, I'm looking like, how often did the kid do the extra math that I said they had to do? I said they had to do it 4 times. I see they only did it 3. So that needs to go back, to the top or whatever. And we're just anything if you expect something, you have to inspect it. Like, you can't just assume it's getting done. So you're constantly inspecting what you expect, like every week. This is what I thought I was going to do. Did I do it? How well did I do it? Do I need to revisit that and put it back on the front burner? Is this thing that we said we were going to do actually happening? And so the weekly review is a lot of your own, like, a meeting with yourself as your own boss kind of thing. And then it's also like being the boss of your family and like the COO, like, are we operating under the things we said we were going to operate under? Do we need to tweak anything, and then disseminating it out to everyone. And that eventually became into a daily meeting. I would say now with older kids, we have a family text. It's a lot easier for me to just text the family than to coordinate a giant family meeting. But we definitely have had lots of seasons of family meetings and they love them, because that was like, what's going to happen? And then, they wanted to hear all the things, and it's fun. They like logistics too.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you are physically writing a lot of this stuff
I
and
am.
having your kids physically writing it out and then checking. And I think what was important that you said, if you expect something, you have to inspect something.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think where that like sparked for me, I was like, oh, okay, this is so helpful, especially for our clients who are trying to put together a fitness routine. They will make a big grand plan, right? I'm going to, let's say they do your process for their fitness routine and they look, where do I want to be in a year? What do I need to do quarterly, what weekly, daily to get to that goal?
For
And
sure.
then they sit down weekly and they look, okay, I had said I was going to work out 5 days, but I only got 3. And then the
Hmm.
next week, I said I was going to work out 5 days, I only got 3. What do you
Yep.
suggest people
Yeah.
do at that point when they keep kind of, I don't want to say falling short, but like the reality of their life is not allowing, or the reality of the way they've prioritized or whatever it
Yeah.
is, they're not hitting it. What do they do?
No, and I love that you're drawing this parallel, because even in fitness, we can look at it, in phases, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to put a 3 month strength program, but it's going to be broken up into 3 phases. And phase one, this is the objective. And sometimes phase one, we might overshoot. We might be like, well, I thought I was a person who could work out 5 days a week, but when it came down to it, I'm not. So is it better that I nail every single time and only do it twice a week? Or that I'm kind of like real not even scrappy. I'm real, all over the place and randomly getting workouts in. And I would say, just neurologically and like behavior modification, it's better to get it 100% and to undershoot and be super consistent than it is to put the ideal up there and then start ignoring it. Like, that's one of the hardest things in the Peloton world, is you've got people that want to do 5 stack classes, but maybe they only get to 3 of them most of the time. And you're like, hey, I think we should take off these 2 that you never get to, because as the trainer, they're just training their brain to ignore the schedule. And the schedule does you no good if you pay no attention to it. And that's true in life too. You have to only put on there what you're actually going to do. So my advice would be, scale it back to your actual life. And if you can't figure that out, that's what a trainer can help you do. And I think that's one thing when I'm seeking with someone, like when I'm seeking and sensing on a call, and I see like, oh, I signed up, but I leave the house at 5:30 and I have a 3 hour commute. And then my kids have all these things, but I want to work out 6 days a week and I want to do a 45-minute this and this. And I'm like, I hear you that that's what you want to do, but your actual life looks more like this. Like, the capacity that you have looks more like daily 10 minutes or twice a week, 30 minutes, whatever. And let's see if we can nail that. And then once you've got that, then we'll layer on the next piece. And you're always shooting for that big rock first. So for me personally, the big rock is the lift. My
Mm-hmm.
second one would be steps. So if I, at the end of the week, nailed all 3 lifts, but my steps were lower, I'm still feeling pretty good. And I know, like, I tell my clients, like, when we're talking about step count, we're just looking at your daily activity. There's not some magical thing about steps. It just tells me like how much you move in your body over a 12-hour period. You can look at the whole weekly average. You can have a Saturday that you walked for 2 hours and then a Monday that you got 2,000 steps. And it turns out that, it levels out. Not every day is perfect, but I think helping people see their reality and then prescribing a prescription that matches their real life is one unique thing that a coach can do for you, because you sometimes can't see the reality for yourself.
Yes, I think that is so important. Fitness is free. Truly, truly, fitness is free. Anyone can do it at any moment. I could stand up right now and do squats. Anyone can do it. You don't need anything to get fitness. Fitness is free. When you when you put the money down to get a personal trainer, one, you're putting skin in the game. You're the point is accountability and someone that's going to help you make those decisions and kind of see the big picture from their expertise of being in this field, knowing what actually is the most important thing for you to focus on with all these other factors that you have. And I think that is super important. What you just highlighted is you need you need to fit the program to your reality, or it's not going to work. It's never going to work. Even if it's the most optimal, perfect program in the world, if you can't do it, it's not going to work.
For sure.
Yeah. Before Darren hogged the mic, thank you, Dee.
Sorry.
I just want to back up and totally agree with you. Ashlie, I want to have you and your husband and maybe not your children over too, because we probably couldn't feed all of them, but family dinners, 100%. Yeah. Family dinners, 100%, because you can break bread together, right? Marriage, the children see those things. And so you need to, as a husband and wife, set those examples so that when these men or sons become husbands or daughters become wives, they know what the template is. Number 3, your faith, fitness. We had faith, family, fitness, and finance in our 4 F's. And so I cannot align with you more on those. The faith is the cornerstone, though. And I like what you said about repetitions there when you follow up with your kids and did they do the thing. I think follow up is extremely important. And I will add to that practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. But all that to say, now that we're talking about, advice and perceptions and reality and action items, I want to know if you agree with this quote, and I'm sure you've heard it from a very famous person, but would you agree that discipline equals freedom and freedom equals discipline for anybody trying to work through something or find a way to navigate or organize?
Is this Jocko?
This is Jocko. I knew you'd know it.
Jocko, read all of his stuff. Love his podcast too. Man, actually, interestingly, my husband has a patch on his back. He carries like a military backpack and it says discipline equals freedom. We have his shirts. Yes, discipline equals freedom for all the same reasons Jocko says. And, discipline is the moment that kicks in when motivation wanes. So whether or not you have discipline, you're going to come to that point. No one stays motivated for life, Absolutely. And so, but the things that you choose to be disciplined in give you, and I love, Jocko says, like, up before the enemy,
Yeah.
Not that my children are enemies, but but if health is so important, which it is, because I will never go further than my health. Like, my ability to stay healthy impacts everything I do. It impacts my mood, my energy levels, my ability to take care of my family, my ability to do my job. And I have to prioritize that. And that, for some people, that might mean more mental health. For me, it means physical health and literally like keeping my body moving and capable. And so, yes, I definitely think that being disciplined, especially in those areas, like in your health, in your finances, in your faith, in your marriage, like keeping boundaries where they belong and walking inside of those boundaries, in all of those areas, gives you the freedom to enjoy life. It gives you the freedom to enjoy your marriage, to enjoy the money that you make. To, like, boundaries are such a good thing, and staying disciplined is a gift, and it's a superpower.
This was incredible. I am seriously bummed that we're coming up on time right now, because I feel like I could ask you so many more questions. There's so much more I want to know. We'll have you back, but also I'll be sending you some personal DMs as well, because I'm taking my kids on a camping trip this weekend for the first time by myself. We're meeting up with other families, but I'm like, dang, I wanted to ask Ashlie, what do I do? Because I'm already like, oh my God.
That you're getting out of your comfort zone. I think that that's so important. I can't tell you how many things I've done scared, taking kids places that I had no business, doing. And I was like, we're going to do this. We're just going to rip the Band-Aid off and do it. It's important because you'll get so much confidence after the fact that you can do it.
Yeah, I asked my oldest yesterday. Well, I said to him, because it was just me and him outside, we were playing a game. And I said, okay, look, I'm taking you guys on a camping trip by myself for the first time. Let's be on the same team here. Like, let's work together. And he said, Mama, I'm always on your team. I know sometimes, but he said, I know sometimes just doesn't seem like it. I said, yeah, it doesn't always seem like I feel confident. We made a team name last night with my youngest too. So,
I love it.
What
maybe
was
we'll
it?
actually, it was something like pink electric strike. I don't even remember now. We gotta circle back and confirm the name.
It's very original. I love it.
Okay, Ashlie, before you go, Dee, what do you think? We should ask her with like one final question. I have so many questions I can ask, but
Well, I want to know what Ashlie wants to share with us. Like, what didn't
yeah.
we ask you? Like, what do you feel like is important for listeners to know?
I think I'm going to squash the idea that anyone's doing it all. I know in the way that you opened, you said a lot of things, but I am not any more special or more capable than anyone else. I think we're all making choices every day. If I were to look, on any Instagram or even in my own family, my sister, what she's doing, it's a lot, and it's things that it's not my season. And so I think you have to be where you are and be fully planted and realize that there's a time and a season for everything. And this just may not be the season for you to have your own chickens and grow your own garden and whatever. Like you're in the season of you're in the car taking kids to wherever, whatever it is, wherever you are, just be all there. Be fully present and enjoy and delight in the people that are in your life. And don't compare. Don't compare what you have or your gifts or your challenges. I don't think any of us would trade our challenges for other people's challenges if we knew what they were, and just really enjoy. And we get one life. And I think one really helpful perspective that I have been given I would say I started doing this like 10 years ago, and that was hashtag these are the days. I have this unique ability to like freeze and just like soak it in and see my family and almost like take a screenshot and be like, this is a moment I'm going to look back on and be like, these are the days, And I think we all have that in our lives, but sometimes we can get so busy and so distracted by what we're not doing or what we think we should be doing that we miss the beauty that's in front of us. And faithfulness doesn't always feel like what it's accomplishing. Being faithful and being intentional in your life, whether it's in your workouts, whether it's in your marriage and your job, just feels like plugging along and repping. It doesn't, like when you see a bodybuilder get on stage and they have huge muscles, like that took thousands of reps over years of time, right? And it doesn't feel like what it's accomplishing, but the faithfulness of doing it day in and day out creates a beautiful whatever it is you're going for. It takes you places that you couldn't possibly imagine it's taking you. And so just dig in and be present and enjoy and delight in the gifts that you have. And gratitude is the antidote to all the things. It gets rid of selfishness. It gets rid of pity parties. It gets rid of feeling like I don't have what the other person has. When you look around and you're just super thankful for what you have, it's really hard to have a bad attitude and not enjoy what you've been given.
That makes me think of the Yogi Berra quote: "Wherever you go, there you are, baby. Be present, dig in, fully embrace, die empty." Ashlie, thank you so much for coming on. Darian, any last takeaways?
No, I couldn't have ended that better. That was
perfect.
perfect.
Right? That was so good.
Sheesh. So good.
Well, it was a joy being on. Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks, Ashlie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And everybody listening, check our show notes. You can click a link to try out Trainwell for 14 days free. We'll talk to you next time.